why did you, in a point where you were so successful at a young age, felt that college was necessary, was a choice that you wanted to go to, and how did you manage that balance between college and business?
That's a great question. Well, for me, being a minority, being Hispanic, being first in my family, coming from extremely, extremely humble beginnings, and entrepreneurship in the beginning was a huge risk. It wasn't like this. I felt like I wanted to do this for the rest of my life, but I wasn't sure. Like I just wasn't sure all the way there, and there was always this like background voice of have a backup plan was part of it. Then when I found out college, you could study something that you're more interested in. I think if I had still gone down, I'm extremely interested in medicine, but if I would have gone down the medical route, which was my original plan, versus computer information systems where I could build websites and I could do things that I enjoyed and that I felt like would be useful in the future. So I think being first in my family, I was able to score enough scholarships that helped the burden in terms of like the financial side of things. And honestly, with Arizona State, very entrepreneurial at their business school. I was also in the honors college. And then I was able to, scholarships, so that helped the financial area. A major in the business school that I felt like was interesting, that I could, stay focused on long enough and really do that. And one of my mentors, Mr. Mort Fleischer, he talked about the purpose of higher education in a different way, about learning how to learn, becoming a master adaptive learner, which is a keyword coined through Arizona State, but it's like there are different aspects. And yeah, you learn communication. I'm still friends with a lot of my professors and advisors, and they always treated me as an individual and as an adult. And I think it would have been a lot harder if I didn't have that environment, to be honest with you. This is at least my scenario. And I also think that because I was able to time collapse, so I graduated in 24 months, I couldn't do that in high school necessarily. I guess I could have, but knowing that I could control that a little bit more, I took my major map, and starts at 4 years or whatever for the program. I was able to just move things around and drop it down to 3. Then I did 2.5, and then I figured out, and I ended up graduating in 2. So that was important too, because by the time I had turned 20, I had my degree. I was running a multi-million-dollar business. I enjoyed living on campus. It was an extraordinary experience. So in my scenario, I couldn't see it any other way. And ultimately, I'm very grateful for the experience. And I wouldn't change a thing. But I think it's case-by-case scenario for sure. I just think that you got to think longer term. And I even thought, as a future father, I want my kids to see that you can do anything. It's not just about doing everything. It's more like you could do anything. And like, this was my path. This is what I was able to do. And I don't expect you to do the same thing or at that level. But if you want to play 3 instruments instead of 1, why not? Or so I wanted to be a testament to my community, to a community of young entrepreneurs, to a community of Hispanic entrepreneurs, especially Hispanic students, and just showcase that, because there is still a very tangible value in American society to getting a university education. It does have a value to it substantially still, and so it's especially some some professions that you simply cannot do without that type of training and certification. And so I think there's a very real aspect to that gets overlooked a little bit nowadays, because yes, prices have gone up substantially. Democratization of access to information. So you can get a YouTube degree, you can get a podcast degree essentially by listening to a podcast every day. There's so much information accessible to us that it's kind of challenging the historical value of a university degree. I think that it's just going to transform, and I'm still a huge believer in that. And we have a nonprofit called the Fleischer Scholars Program, and we help underserved students during their junior to senior year in high school learn about scholarships and learn about the university, which major or discipline might be interesting to them. And there's really a strong value to that. I still think that the majority of people are going to benefit substantially from that education. Even if you end up doing something completely opposite of what you studied in school, you still learn a lot of those principles, and having to read books that, are this thick, and they're, I'm running my business and I'm like, I can do this, or I can read Shakespeare Volume 10 and write an essay on it, right? You're like, it's kind of tough, but honestly, it was a challenge too. I didn't want to back down. I'm all in, like I'm all in or I'm out, and I was already in it, and it was a challenge to be like, could I take 22 credits a semester, which is what I did? Could I get straight A's? Could I run a multi-million-dollar business? Could I be involved on campus? Could I do it all? And I think at that age too, you've got tons of energy. So if it makes sense for you, why not knock it out? And if it doesn't, I think the financial implications are important, debt and things like that. But I still think that there's a ton of value in a university education.